How has life changed after marriage?
What's the thing you're most excited about? These next steps with your wife.
I think.
Well, you can't say that.
What?
All right, we know that thing, but we don't know the other thing.
Personally, from a personal level, in terms of like, how do you feel like after? How was your life like? You know, like before marriage.
I'm
how
tired,
Waj.
Waj.
How was your like? How was your life?
I don't sleep, Waj. I'm tired.
I shouldn't be hugging or holding
Yeah,
hands.
like
I
how is
agree
that
with
stage
that.
in the middle stage, right?
I get, yeah, it's
This
just
is
like
a
I'm
limbo,
waiting.
like,
awkward.
It's
It's
literally,
weird. You're
it's
not married yet.
Yeah, it's
So why are you
literally
acting like you're married?
literally
bro.
waiting. I don't know. It's just like, I guess that's where I'm weak and I can't wait for it to be halal at that point.
How do you deal with the families now? Do you feel like mom's gonna get upset that you're always spending time
Yeah,
in
definitely.
Houston and Texas and you've never been in LA? Like,
My mama has already said like she kind of feels left out of like.
dude,
Very awkward
Okay,
thing
hold
to hold. That one might be easier to hold.
No, bro. Yeah, it is.
Remember when Waj was eating that motherfucking chocolate? I don't want it to drip.
what is going on, everybody?
all of
Dude, I
this
can't do
laughing,
this. I can't. I don't think I can do this. Wait, this is loud. Hold on, let me turn this down.
I can't even hear it.
Turn me up, bro.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Chai Talk, ladies and gentlemen. I'm with the boys.
The boys are back.
We
The
are
boys are back.
The boys are back in jail.
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious.
Guys, this is the first time we're doing a setup where we have this many people and this many mics, so bear with us if things kind of get out of hand. But anyways, hopefully this angle's... Make sure... Let me know if I'm cutting you... I'm not cutting you guys off right here. I'm good. All right, man. We're here. Ahmed, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, my brother.
Hey, man. So tell the people what we're here and what we're doing, man. Tell the
We're
people
here
what's
for
going on, man.
my bachelor party
Hey.
in San Luis Obispo. We
Hey.
got the boys together and, you know, spending some wholesome, good quality time.
Good quality time. See,
Meet me halfway.
So these are the boys from NorCal, and we are from SoCal,
Yeah.
and we met in the middle, which is San Luis Obispo.
Also known as the Bay Boys.
Yeah, the Bay Boys. You
Yeah,
know,
the
the Bay
Bay
We're
Boys.
from
So.
Sacramento. So.
Well, Sacramento, so the Bay Boys. But we are, we're just doing a bachelor party. We decorated this place for Alma, then we're just doing some wholesome vibes. You know, hey, ladies, you know, if your man goes to Miami or if they go anywhere else, I don't know about that, but we're just doing some wholesome stuff.
Wholesome
vibes.
San
Just
Luis
some
Obispo.
bike rides.
They go to Miami, just call it off.
Just call it. Just call it off.
Let's call it out.
Just call it off. But anyways, guys, for today's episode, literally was just all friends getting together, and we just kind of wanted to talk.
Let's just get into it.
Get into what?
We've had a fun time this trip. Let's just say that. It's always good vibes.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, we got some experienced men in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
when it comes to the marriage life. So we got Harris Katak over here. You know, HK 15.
What's up, everyone?
He's been married for how many years?
Almost coming up to 8 years.
8. Wow.
Hey,
Mashallah.
Kobe
So
8.
don't call you a vet, my brother. Don't call you a vet. 2 kids,
Dean
of
and
course.
Hannah, yeah.
He has 2 kids.
Hannah
He's been
Banana.
married, you know, for a long time now.
Long time.
A long time now. Hey,
You see the
be
gray
careful,
hairs?
Marjan, if you're watching this. And Farouk, how long you been married for, my brother?
going on 2+ years right
2+. So newly, I would say he's newly.
Yeah.
I would say he's newly.
He's still a baby.
You know?
Farouk is the owner of 5 Pillars. I
Farouk
think.
is the owner of 5. Guys, this episode is sponsored by 5 Pillars.
Don't watch
We just didn't get any money for it, but we're sponsored by 5 Pillars. But anyways, we got our boy Swagger. If you guys remember him from the other Chai Talk episode, a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, So basically, Ahmed, you're not. I mean, I'm not married yet either, but you are about to, inshallah, get married.
Inshallah.
You are
get married.
engaged. So I thought this episode can be.
Alhamdulillah.
You can seek some advice from the brothers over here. Tell us how marriage is, and you guys can ask him.
Exactly. We'd
he's
love to
ready.
hear your questions first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, you're going into this new journey into life
Wow.
with
Yes.
your other half. So
Yes.
Let me start it off. Let me just start it off. How about let me just start it off?
we'd love to,
Okay.
Let me just start it off.
Sure.
So, to you guys, right? How has life changed after marriage? Like, just how did life change after marriage? I know for you it's been a while, but sorry. How has life changed? Sorry, chime in whenever you want to chime in, my brother.
shoot.
But hey, hold on. Introduction. I don't even know if I say Swag right here. You guys know that HK, and you guys know Farouk right here. So if anybody gets confused about the names, but go ahead, HK. Tell us how has life changed from before marriage and how after marriage.
Before marriage, you got a lot of free time.
Okay.
When you're married, you don't have
Getting
free
a little
time.
spicy. Hey. It's like a
Let's just
politics.
say
Hey, my brother.
we have a saying in the chat. Hashtag double booked.
Oh wow, yes, of course.
Obviously, when you're getting together with another person, with your partner, your second half, your rib, whatever you want to call it, you have a big family already. Muslims, Pakistanis, Afghans, we have big families. So you're also getting married to another bigger family. So like if your weekends weren't already packed, your weekends are going to get triple packed, double booked.
Okay.
So obviously you're inviting this whole other family into your life, and you get to bridge that beautiful gap, which is nice. And I
tell
say
me personally, from a personal level, in terms of like, how do you feel like after? How was your life like? Like before marriage.
I'm
how
tired,
were you?
Waj.
How was your like? How was your life?
I don't sleep, Waj. I'm tired.
Bro, right?
There's different stages, right? There's like there's
like
the honeymoon.
This guy's like a papaji, bro. This guy's like a papaji. Anyways, give.
So you got different stages, right? You got the engaged stage, right?
Yeah.
It gets kind of hectic. You're planning the wedding, all that crazy stuff. You got right when you get married, you got the honeymoon stage. You guys are crazy about each other. You're like, rah, you go like,
Naughty cat.
it's
Oh my god!
no
wonder why he's
Freaking
not
Shah Rukh
married.
Khan. Freaking
Yeah, I
from
know,
Dawn. Shah Rukh Khan. What do you
I
mean?
know,
Shah Rukh Khan.
You guys don't know Dawn movie?
This
Shah
is
Rukh
Shah
Khan.
Khan.
Come on, naughty. Sorry, keep going, bro.
Naughty.
Dawn, bro. Shah Rukh Khan, man.
And then obviously, when you have kids, it's a whole other. There's different stages, right? Life is not all the same thing. So, alhamdulillah, we got to do that. So, it's fun. I honestly, like, I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
I love my life. So I love my kids, my family, my wife. So, I can't complain. But yeah, when you get married, it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
Shout out Aladdin. Now on to you, Jafar.
Hey, Rook.
Just you, Jafar.
Hey, Rook. So you just got recently married. I would say like 2 years is still pretty fresh and pretty new. We were at your wedding. I remember that. So tell us about how has it been for you?
I think picking back off HK right here, it definitely gets more hectic and more busy. Depending on the type of family that you get married into and your own family. If you have a large family, it gets even busier. I think the other big thing is before you get married, especially with like our crew of just doing random YouTube stuff, traveling, business, whatever, it does get more busier to juggle time and like make time out for yourself, make time out for like what you want in the future. And then time, obviously, with your wife and like your family,
Rook,
her
I would
family.
say you got a lot more gray hair.
I definitely got a lot more gray hair, and that's 110% on my wife right now.
If you're watching this,
I always joke with her on it, man.
I hope you don't get in trouble, my brother.
Hope not, man. Hope
Speaking
not.
of the mic, swag.
Don't get in trouble. I'm sorry, man. I didn't know I had a mic.
Yeah, man. Speaking of the mic, swag. Jeez, man. But yeah, man. So you'd say it changed in the sense of just like free. Okay, I see you guys saying free time.
Yeah, free time and just like time in general.
Okay, tell me about. I want to know. Okay, Ahmed, do you have a question in the middle of this? Because I want to get to know like how is it living with another person?
Yeah, I guess
like
that's
you guys.
the
I get
first
free time, dude. Free time is obviously that's given. Take us through like when you start to live with someone.
Bro,
now.
nitty-gritty.
Get us in
They
the
want-
Give us
they
the
want the
juice,
details,
bro.
Harris.
Give us the juice. You
First
guys just talk about free time.
Give me the first year.
Bro, living.
There you go. I'm gonna ask him questions.
Living is crazy. Me and Javeri were just talking about this like a couple of days ago. Right when you get married, like some days you're just like, man, what the heck did I get myself into?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then it's like I feel like it's kind of like a roller coaster. Like you have times that are absolutely amazing, and then you have times that are tough because you're trying to figure out like how this person lives, cooks, cleans, all that good stuff.
Yours probably goes like up and down like a roller coaster. Mine goes like a loop. Like and my like you get stuck on top and you're just hanging upside down.
Yeah, man.
But no, yeah, exactly what he said. It's like that. You'll have amazing days, you'll have bad days. That's life, We're human at the end of the day. But living with another person, it's crazy because this other person's used to something completely different, and obviously, we're Muslim, so this is the first time you're living with another person, of the other sex, right? And yeah, they're used to something completely different. You're used to something completely different, and that's when you compromise and you kind of figure out, okay, what can I get away with, what I can't get away with, and you kind of just build like a something even in the middle, but.
You said the word sex there. I'm joking. Anyways, go. Sorry.
Opposite gender. I apologize.
Anyways, what do you?
Yeah, we got flagged on YouTube now.
What else do you want to know? What else you want to know about like the early stages? What are you afraid of?
Not I'm afraid of, but I want to get you guys' opinion. Just as they see guys like Pakistani, Afghan, and stuff like that, we are known to have like egos. So how much does your ego die or how much do you have to keep it in control?
You got to throw it in the back seat, brother.
Yeah, as you get married.
Put it in the car seat and just call it a day. Wow. Give it an iPad and say, hey, don't talking this.
Talking this.
What about you?
Yeah, I think I mean, part of like life is like destroying that ego to begin with.
Yeah.
And I think like part of the reason why I feel like not that I feel like, but I've heard Islam is or getting married in Islam is like half your deen is because now you have somebody that basically is like a mirror to you every single day. So it's easy to be all nice and this and that, whatever, outside the house, but then inside the house with your wife, when you have disagreements, arguments, all this stuff that happens on a day to day, it really, I think, like checks you, and then obviously kills the ego, because like, you know, at home there's no ego. Like you have to kill it if you want a like nice, healthy kind of like marriage.
Keep everything in the house.
Yeah.
The less cooks in the kitchen, the better. I know we just had a beautiful dinner with 18 cooks in the kitchen,
What a
and it gets kind of hectic, right? But the less cooks, the better. When it's just you and your significant other, and you guys take care of stuff together, no outside, you know, hearing this person from here, this, that side, whatever. You guys take care of your own problems. Other people don't need to know about your problems. Don't run to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, MySpace. You know, don't go to those places. Those people aren't going to help you. Those people are going to be happy you have those problems. They're going to be, oh yeah, this person is as messed up as me. You know, just keep everything to yourself, and I think you resolve it that much better too by just keeping it between you. Don't live in a glass house, and don't throw rocks in the glass house.
But at the same time, not getting people involved. But how do you, like, as a guy, then how do you vent? Like, if there's whether you're right or whether you're wrong. Like, I think that I agree with you that you shouldn't be bringing other people in. But is there like one person how I do it is like. If I do need to talk to somebody, I talk to somebody that's like out of the group, like who maybe not Muslim,
third party,
like a third party, just to be like, you know, like one of my good friends from UCLA, like Andre, I just talk to him whenever there's something like that. So what do you think about having an outlet? Maybe a woman needing an outlet, a man needing an outlet. Like I personally think it's important that each person at least has one other person to talk to, because if it just keeps boiling up and just inside of you, that it's just going to be constant back and forth. Like, I think there needs to be one outside reason that's not involved in your day-to-day life.
Rule number 1, communication.
Wow.
Yeah. Right, Swag?
I'm just... Hey, man. Hey, I'm just listening to the master talk. You know?
Communication is number 1.
Yeah.
My cousin told me this a long time ago before I got married.
Because of Pakistan or?
Afghanistan or Pakistan? I haven't talked to my therapist about that, but so basically, so for communication, right? My cousin told me this before we got married. She said, never let the other person go to sleep upset. I didn't really think anything too crazy of it, whatever. Right? I was still early and stuff. But it hits harder now. That's the last thing you want to do, is make that person go to sleep upset or leave the house upset. God knows what happens. You walk out that door, something happens. The last thing in your head is like, I said bad words, or I talked bad to this person that I love, and you can't take that stuff back. So communication, 100%. I would say limit the outside as much as possible, but maybe it is good to talk to someone outside, but the less people that know about your stuff, the better. Yeah. If you can fix it between the two people, you and your wife, and you fix that communication, because it's not going to be like you think you're 100% right, she thinks she's 100% right, and you're not going to walk away and she's going to be at 0%, like, okay, whatever, maybe he's right. Not going to happen. Yeah, no. The compromise is going to be 50-50. You guys are going to come to some agreement to where, hey, I'm okay with this, you're okay with this, we fix this issue, let's move on. And this is not going to come up ever again. The best thing is to fix your house like that. You don't want those little lingering things hanging around. And if you're going to vent, and maybe it's nice to like talk to someone, but I think fixing it in your core is the best thing.
I think like the other thing, there's a difference between venting to somebody and especially like somebody trustworthy or more mature. Like, I know if I ever, like, let's say vent to like Harris about something, right? He's not going to come with any type of like evil or malicious kind of like intent, right?
I think you're going to be taking your wife's side, or like when you vent to somebody, you're hoping that other person is able to maybe validate you, but also take the other person's side of like where's their point of views coming. If they just keep saying,
But majority of your friends are gonna take your side,
yeah,
right?
I think, but I
Make
think
you feel better about
you
yourself.
feel better, but I also think that like,
But then you're gonna be arguing with your wife, and you're gonna argue with your friend.
No, I think they help you look. You're not as defensive, so you look at it in a more calm way. Like, hey, do you think I'm right when I did something? Like, do you think I'm right in what I did or how I reacted? And they can say like, no, I don't think you were right, or no, I do think you're right. It just depends on what kind of friend you have.
And then that makes you feel like, okay, maybe you had a good conversation with this person. You'll go back to your wife and maybe if you walked away and you're being stubborn or something, like, hey, I talked to somebody about this and, I was in the wrong.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Another like big thing within it though is like communication gets preached like quite a bit, but understanding. Yeah. Like I think me and Jaber, like me and my wife, like we talked about communication and making sure it's like good between us. But then you understand that like each person comes to the relationship or to that conversation with different even understandings and definitions of like the words that are being used and all that good stuff. Yeah. But you have to have empathy and you have to have understanding of where this person's like coming from. And one of the biggest things I think like early on in marriage, it feels like every maybe like argument or discussion is like a war or something like that. But the reality is like there's usually nothing like that crazy that can't be solved by you two, as long as you come to it like with level heads and understanding for each other.
I just think, dude, it's just like this goes back generally, right? Marriage or not married, it's just kind of like this whole idea of arguments and empathy and being understanding. But how do you guys cope with? I guess when you're in a marriage, like you guys live in the same house, in the same roof, right? You can't just like leave, or I mean, you could leave, but it's like. You know what I'm saying? When arguments happen, it's like at the end of the day, well, maybe you'll sleep on the couch. But I'm just saying, like, maybe you'll sleep on the couch. Like,
guilty as charged, Your Honor. 7+ years in the game.
Or you go to the grocery store and just spend walking down the aisles. Dude,
hey, there's times where you pull up to the house and you're just parked in the parking spot and you're like, you spend like 30 minutes before you go into the house,
you go into the house,
it happens.
But probably not in the first year of marriage. But it's like after years go by, sure.
Obviously, you're with this person 24/7. There's no, and obviously when you get married, there's no sense of privacy. When you have kids, privacy doesn't mean anything.
For sure,
like
for sure.
I don't know if I say this, but I don't know if you want to cut this out. Whatever, I'll keep. But I can't remember the last time I went to the bathroom at my house where my kids weren't in the bathroom, or like there's no sense of privacy like that. Like So sometimes when you want that alone time and you just like
of course
sometimes you need that. And so I think it's healthy for your wife and yourself to have that since you're with them
inside the bathroom while you're
my door does not lock. Like the kids just like will be banging on the door if I'm in the bathroom.
Oh wow!
But I can't remember the last time I went to the bathroom without someone else in there.
Oh, that's supposed to be that's where the man's peace and quiet time is.
Man.
No, I lost that a long time ago.
Huh?
No.
Hey man, or you could just be like Rook and go on multiple honeymoons.
That's true. It's all quiet on the western front over here.
This guy travels without his wife.
Dude, Rook has been traveling so much.
Oh, this is one of your main questions.
Yeah. No, I guess it's just like
Hey, but before you get into it though, I'm not married, obviously. But just me jerk. Anyway, just quickly though, just like as your brother, like if you're wrong, own up to it with her, and if you're right, tell her to her in a way where she'll understand. Because in my opinion, you'll have your own way of communication with her. Just like me, I have a communication with Waj. He has it with his wife. He has it with his wife, or whatever the case is. So just because communication is super important and it's so cliche because people talk about it all the time. But I feel like obviously they could say it more. They're married, but once you're married, I'm sure that's going to be even more heightened in your life.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
I feel like a lot of it is just so much easier to preach than actually actions. Like we all, I think
100%.
like I know communication is important. She knows communication is important. We both know that you're not supposed to get mad or have ego, or you're not, you don't want to have the other person go to sleep angry. Like everyone, any calm, educated, like, everyone knows, especially in this day and age, knows all of this stuff. It's about implementing it and like, and that knee-jerk reaction that you might have is like fixing or like, changing that. But it's just, that's like the hard part. I think it's not more about, I think everyone has, I think now the knowledge is like about implementing it and how fast or quickly you could.
It's a full-time job at the end of the day.
It is.
You got to put the work in. You don't put the work in, like what's the rate right now? 50% in the United States divorce rate? Like,
is it? I don't know.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
high.
yeah, it's pretty high.
Dang, 50?
So like automatically, I think maybe higher in the Muslim community. I don't know. Might have to fact check that, Jeff. We should have someone fact check this.
What are some questions you guys have for Ahmed? Like taking it back to you guys' marriage, because the wedding hasn't even happened. What is it?
Yeah,
Sorry.
42% by the way.
Wow, 40%
That's-
divorce rate in
high.
America.
That's very high.
Oh my god, that is really high.
So that's like what out of like 4 people, 4
So
couples too.
what's the stage Ahmed's in right now? He's
Yes.
like about to like the wedding and like pre-planning the wedding. So maybe we can go there, but in the sense of just like, what are you guys' questions for our brother over here?
I mean, have you guys talked about like the tough stuff?
Yeah, I think
Like-
all of like
Yeah, that's of course, yeah.
Yeah, those questions are asked before you even get
Yeah,
engaged.
That's
before
good. That's
yeah.
good to
You
ask.
know,
Yeah,
like-
you need
but
to
I-
sit down
but
for
you know
that.
what I realized is a lot of people they get caught up, especially when you're Muslims a little bit more like older. It kind of rushes. Like I think the adult relationships happen within like 6 months to a year. People like engage, married, and they don't really get to know the person.
Yeah.
But I think what Abada did was like really intentionally go down and be like, hey, this is. We don't have to do this. This is a choice that we're making. Like I don't, we get stuck in a society. Like everyone around us is getting married. We have to get married. Like this is the best option that we have. Like that wasn't put into place. It's like, hey, this is not like a do or die situation. No matter how old, no matter where I am in life, like this will affect the rest of your life, your career. Like no one understands how big the marriage. They're like, okay, I'm just gonna get married and then I'll figure it out after. And it's like, no, like. It affects so much. Who you marry changes your whole life.
Yeah.
Completely.
Facts.
So I don't know, that weight is like so important. So like even we went through definitely all those questions, but I think it's like premarital counseling is something that I preach as well. And like Abed and I have done. Just it's not that we're arguing already, but just in time for when we might argue. It's better to go into therapy when you're at a high.
Better to get it out now.
But it also gives you tools on how to fix when you get into that argument. Like I rather know when something bad happens, like there's a leak or something like that, and then you're like, okay, I have the tools already. I don't have to go to Home Depot. I don't have to go like this. And that's how I see therapy is. It's like tools to help fix a future problem.
But I think in our community, no one does that. Especially, bro, you know how
You're trying to go fast.
everybody
but
just gets married, bro. Especially back in our parents' time, everybody just gets married without actually having, I guess, premarital counseling.
No,
like that's not even heard
that
of as
wasn't-
much.
It
bro.
isn't.
Yeah.
And inshallah, like when you find your girl or something like that, no matter how much you like her,
Yeah.
no matter how much I like her in the family, I'm going to be like, until like, not that my approval matters, but until like, I would be all in is like, hey, no matter how good you think this person is, go through the premarital counseling thing because they ask you questions that you might not think of like, oh, the therapist in one sense
I
said,
recommend doing it out, not a Muslim one, if possible.
Yeah.
I would do like an American one. We did a Muslim one, and we.
So you did a premarital?
We
thing?
did, yeah. So I did my original interview.
Yeah.
Marjan did her original interview, and we're supposed to do the third one. We just never got the call back from them.
Gotcha.
They just ghosted us. I lost $500.
Oh,
so
shit.
hey, trying to get my $500 back, famo. If you can get my $500 back, but no, I wish we actually fully went through with it. I think 100% would have benefited us, but I do recommend that.
There's better Muslim ones now.
Yeah, I'll go to anybody else.
Did
I'll
you
go
do it,
to-
Rook? Did you do a premarital
Yeah,
counseling?
we did like a one session, kind of like one.
Dude, this is
beforehand.
amazing. I don't know that. Like, I'm so surprised
Yeah.
that you
But it
guys
has
that
to
did
be-
it.
It should be more than one session, though. I feel like. I
so
mean,
it's-
it gets stuck because I think it's a evolving thing that where it's like maybe premarital, and then this can be your person moving on, maybe too. But like
I think
even
the way-
you just get so busy.
You guys just did the joint one at the
We
beginning,
just
same
did.
time.
We honestly did one, and then we
Oh,
got.
sorry, we did
got
three.
so-
We did
got
a joint
so
one in the
busy.
beginning. Then I had my interview one by myself, 1-on-1. Then she had the 1-on-1.
Yeah.
And the next one was supposed to be like talking about all the
Yeah.
stuff that we had talked about, and then never
You
happened.
just get so busy.
But that's an
and you
advice
get-
for all the people out there that
Yeah,
are planning
dude,
to get married
Do it.
or get
Do it.
premarital
Yeah.
counseling.
Yeah, counseling
Highly
is
recommend it.
not a negative thing of like, oh, something's bad. Like if you're on a high, if you are positive, you guys are happy, that's the best time to go to counseling, I think.
Yeah, wow.
Better to stay on top.
I can take lots of advice from this episode, man. Sheesh,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
Shout
you
out to
guys
BetterHelp.
say.
No, I'm just kidding.
The sponsor, we need a sponsor.
Yeah, man. Any questions you guys have for Ahmed in terms of what he's ready for, or what he's getting himself into, or
What's the thing you're most excited about? These next steps with your wife.
I think
Well, you can't
wait for the
say
wedding.
that. All right, we know that thing, but
Oh my goodness. Oh, I love
I
it.
gotta cut
Easy.
that one out.
No, it's just more. Honestly, it's like for me, it's a religious thing. I think it's like this was like the growing up, like all this, like this whole group. We don't like we eat halal. We don't do drink. We don't smoke. We don't do any of that. So it's just like this was a one thing. Being in this Western society is like, you know, like when you're trying to find a partner, you're trying to find a wife. Like you try to do it the halal way, but it's kind of a little bit. This is just like. I know I will feel like, inshallah, like when we get married, like, okay, I feel like at ease now. Like I'm not like,
checked
I
off
can
all the
touch your
boxes.
hand, I can hold, I can hug
that,
you.
okay, all right.
It's not gonna be like, you
Go
know,
watch the Five Pillars
What are
video.
you talking about?
yeah,
that?
exactly. But I'm not gonna get, I'm not gonna
Insert
get
comments.
Yeah, exactly.
Go watch the Five
Even though
Pillars latest video, guys.
I don't know.
Facebook.com,
I'm
Five
not-
Pillars.
Exactly. I'm
You'll
not-
see his latest
But you see
video.
the comments though, and it's not like they're wrong. Those
That's
comments,
true, yeah.
those comments are not wrong. Like yes, like
Yes,
in the-
so why are you picking her up?
No, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Why
those
is she your
comments are
partner?
Why are you
right.
picking up
Ask-
before
ask the
marriage?
real question.
I agree.
Why are you picking up
Say
before
to it.
marriage?
Because I feel like I'm in a weird stage right now. It's because like when I
It's a
always
limbo
thought about
stage.
like, you know, relationships and marriage is just like we always keep it hidden, right? Because like, oh, it's not ready for
Yeah.
marriage, or so we always
Yeah.
keep it hidden. But now I'm like, I brought her parents, her dad said yes, my parents said yes. I gave the ring engagement, we let it out, people.
What'd you
and
get?
I know it's not, and it's like, you know, it's not, it's like, yes, it's like, you know, the written and with the like that's really important. But I just feel like I've done a big step of like it's not hiding. It's like both people agree, like we're planning on it, but it doesn't excuse like I shouldn't be hugging or holding
Yeah,
hands.
like
I
how is
agree
that
with
stage, like, in the middle stage,
I
right?
get, yeah.
This
It's
is
just
the
like I'm
limbo,
waiting.
like,
Awkward.
It's
It's
literally
weird. You're
it's
not married yet.
Yeah, it's
So why are you
literally-
acting like you're married?
Literally
bro.
waiting. I don't know. It's just like dang, like it's gonna happen in inshallah in a couple months. So, but you never know at that time. So that's why Allah has the rules. I guess that's where I'm weak, and I can't wait for it to be halal at that point.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
That's a issue, a problem that I have, and I'm not gonna condone it. Like, oh, geez, just because you're engaged, you do it. Like,
a lot of people when they get engaged, they do the nikah. So like, there's different steps,
Yeah.
right?
Would you guys say to get nikah before waiting a
Get
whole year?
nikah
for marriage?
as soon as possible, man.
yeah, I
Like,
agree.
Nikah,
is.
for
That
those
way,
that
because
know,
when
is
you're
like a
going through the
le-
engagement
marriage.
process, you have
get
nothing to
married.
worry about. You can just
Yeah.
take
No, I
care of
agree,
all
but
that.
it just it's all about logistical thing. It's a family thing. It's about an event, like
bro,
how
get
you
two
want to do it.
witnesses, get an imam,
Yeah.
and do your nikah, bro. Call it a day.
Yeah, you can do it that way too, but I guess I obviously took a different. Why would you talk about that? She said she's forgiving it, so.
Nah, bro, you gotta give her
No,
something,
No, I know,
man.
I know you gotta give
Sorry,
something.
you want to say something?
I have a question, but
Oh,
I don't know if it's a good time.
That's the question.
Ask the
All right,
question.
I have
brother.
two, but I'll say one and then I'll save it for them to do. Well, my first question is how hard was it to find the ring for her?
Oh wow, wow! Ring
And what
shopping.
was the I don't know if you talked. I think you did talk
What?
about it, but
The
like, what was the
process?
process and like how hard was it?
Ladies and gentlemen, quick message as this episode is brought to you guys by BetterHelp. As you guys know, Chai Talk is all about having these deep conversations, all about therapy, all the conversations that I have with my family, with my mom, and all that you guys know. And I'm so happy to be partnering with BetterHelp because I feel like therapy is probably one of the most important things that an individual can go through in their personal healing journey, and to talk to individuals to seek that kind of help. So if you guys are in a situation, if you're dealing with comparing your life to others, feeling like nothing is good enough, feeling like nothing is working out regarding your timing, I highly encourage you guys to go ahead and check out BetterHelp to talk to individuals and seek therapy. And for today's episode, you guys can get 10% off your first month if you guys go to betterhelp.com/chai. Again, that's betterhelp.com/chai, and you'll get 10% off your guys' first month. Go ahead and check it out, and on to the episode.
Bro, the ring. There's a lot of different ways you can go. When I was getting my MBA, I did a case study on real versus lab, and that was something that I was like, I just knew how much the diamond industry was a scam.
Oh.
So when I was in the MBA, I was just like, oh yeah, lab, and then you meet a girl and then she's like, lab is fake, and then you're just like, so what I realized at the end of the day, it's not about what you want, it's what the girl feels confident wearing. So it's because you're not doing it for yourself. So even if do whatever you can with your means and something that you're proud of and she'll be proud of too. You don't want to like hide it. You don't want to be, if you're proudly say it's lab, then say that. You'll proudly say it's like zirconium or whatever the other gemstones are, like say that. But not that you're trying to hide it. Then I think it becomes an issue. But the process is a long process, dude. It's not easy. It's like,
I went. Wajeeh knows. Like I was looking for people in India. I was trying to find the miners themselves.
This guy was trying to go down to
I
forget wholesale, bro. He was trying to go straight to the damn source.
is that why you asked me to borrow blood diamonds?
Yeah, he's trying to go straight to the source.
I realized the more people in the middle, that it kept going up. The more hands it was exchanging. So I'm like, let me try to get to the source as best as possible. But yeah, so I went. I started like looked both in Houston, looked in Dallas, then I went to New York, then I went to New Jersey, like calling people, some in LA, and it's just like pricing and seeing everything.
Did she pick out the ring or you picked out the ring?
She told me what she liked.
Oh, okay.
Like, hey,
Nice.
this is the type of cut I want, things like that. And then I went ahead and went like, I put like so many different stones on my hand. Like, does it look good? Like, I had to just choose.
Probably didn't.
Not with these like hands,
Yeah.
but like it's a
Very manly hand.
it's a
in
process.
Pakistani culture, does she buy you the ring or do you have to buy your own ring?
She buys. Yeah, they buy the. Yeah. She buys me the ring.
But
Yeah.
guys'
Why in
rings are,
Afghan
like, so
culture you have to
cheap.
buy both the rings?
Guys' rings like $100.
So guys,
Yeah,
so
right?
Afghans,
Guys,
they
some
just throw it
Afghans
in,
here,
man.
so that's
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
So I
Just
guess
you guys didn't know
Afghan.
the
Harris
I'm
is.
in the middle. I'm half Afghan, half
half
Pakistani.
Afghan, half
Yeah.
Pakistani,
That's why they made me
fully
sit in the middle.
Afghan, full Pakistani. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so the process of the ring, I think it just depends on you want to do something that because you're giving it to your partner, so you want to make sure that they're happy, but at the same time you don't want to go into debt either. So you have that conversation. I don't think your wife would want you to go into debt for that. So like you tell them, this is what I have, this is how much I do, and if you yourself want to go a little bit higher because you feel happier, then it's like I worked harder so she can be happier. Then that's something on you.
I got a question for the group. All right, so I feel like a lot of things is it's a societal thing, right? Getting back to Chai Talk, because with men especially, right? Once you get married, you almost feel as if like now you there's all these comments and stuff like, oh, he's trapped, or oh, he's like oh, he can't go anywhere, he can't do anything anymore because he's married now, he can't hang out with us, like, oh, he's gonna change because he's married now, or he can't hang out with us, oh, he has to ask his wife for permission. There's so many things that come with jokes and comments within the like friends and men and whatnot, right? So it's like, in that sense, I feel like it's not about how do you navigate it, but it's like, obviously it's like, how do, like, especially within friends, and when friends make comments and they make all this stuff like, oh, now look at him, he's a married man, he's changed, or he's this, or he's that, or he can't hang out, or he can't do this. How do you guys deal with those types of comments? And it's like a more society thing. It's more of like a friend. It's more of a men deal with a lot of times. Like other men will start calling you guys names because, oh, you're married. Look, you have to ask your wife for permission. Like stuff like that. Like, how do you guys deal with that?
For us, I think in our culture,
Generally, how should we deal with that?
Marriages look a little bit negative. It's negative from the boy's perspective. It's just
Low-key.
like, oh, he got trapped. He has like the smallest handcuff in the world is the ring.
I was gonna say, yeah,
why
small
is that?
thing.
Why? My thing is like, why is
just put it
that?
on.
But also like, how do you deal with it?
Yeah.
Like this is for the group, because generally this is for anybody. It doesn't have to be married or not married, because it's like that's just a stigma, right?
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing is you being secure in who you are as a person.
Yeah.
I think like obviously whether it's your wife, whether you're living at home, whether you're living with a roommate, like if you're going out, you let somebody know like, yo, I'm going out. I'm traveling for 2 weeks. Nobody ever just picks up their bags and just goes, right? But I think communication is super.
Yeah, I think
That's what mom.
That's what I do with my
Literally,
mom.
literally what he does.
Lately.
He just dips and leaves. And my mom called me. You know where he is? Like he hasn't came home. I'm like,
I've
oh,
only
he's
been-
in New
my
York.
mom still
He's
does
in
that.
Me and
Vegas.
mom
My
has been
brother,
beefing.
yeah.
That's why
He's in Vegas. So like like
we've been
now
beefing. When you beef, that happens.
You gotta settle the beef. Man.
Yeah, we settle the beef.
But even if you're beef with your wife, you can't just get up and go.
No.
She'll
No,
kick
no,
your
no,
ass.
That's different. That's a wife though.
You gotta communicate.
I didn't choose. You guys chose a wife. I didn't choose a mom. Anyways, keep going. Alhamdulillah. Keep going. Sorry, keep going. What were you saying?
Wow.
Shout out, Mama G.
Yeah,
Shout out Mama G.
No, yeah. You know what they say? Oh, we lost another one, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
when
so
a
always
guy
with
gets
comments.
married, we lost another.
Yeah, like all these comments.
For me, it was kind of tough, right? Out of our group of guys, I was the first person to get married.
First one to get married. Yep.
And it was tough. My transition to being married, and then my married life. I have a big family. My wife has a big family, and I wasn't as available when I was single.
Yeah.
I still made the effort to come to things, but if I was something else was a kid's birthday party or another birthday party, something like, hey, I'm sorry guys, I can't make it, and I hope you guys understood at those times when I was going through that stuff, and I was like, eventually one day when these guys get married, they'll figure it out. So slowly, your wife has a big family. You guys jet ski every other weekend and stuff. So like we lost Rook for a while.
Yeah,
Right?
we still do. But he's barely active in the chat.
Yeah, we barely see him.
And now
Hey,
I'm
I'm here,
happy.
though.
Majority of us are married now, to where like you guys understand. Like even before
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
married, you told us in the chat like, hey, I have this thing planned with, I wanted to hang out with this person,
Yeah.
but this other thing's happening on, my married
Yeah,
side,
yeah,
that
yeah,
side.
yeah.
Like, what do I do? I was like, brother, you got to go to the married side. Whatever's happening on that side, like that's your new priority.
You don't understand it until you're in it. Like, I guess like I always try to keep it, even when all my friends got married, it was like, as a single person, it takes you away from the friend group, like whether it's the FaceTime calls, whether it's a text message and stuff like that. So obviously the guys get kind of like her to a point, but then also like you have a whole new life. But as you get older, you realize like, that's something where I've even more realized now being in it. It's like, okay, I know what they were talking about. Like, it's not as easy to balance because she sees me on my phone like texting, smiling like crazy because it's the memes and messages that we're sending, and the group because the group chats go crazy. And then our group chats were FaceTiming at night,
You
like
guys be calling 50 times a day,
so
bro.
right now,
What time he was in
picked up
bed?
at nighttime.
He picked up the FaceTime when he's in bed next to his wife, bro. That's
Exactly.
hilarious.
And I'm thinking like, I don't know how.
That's next level.
I really don't know how it's gonna be because we talk a lot on FaceTime at night, like. How
when you're laying next to somebody else,
how
at
am I
night,
gonna
it's
do it?
different,
I was literally thinking, I'm like, dang, like, do me talking with the boys and everything like that, that's gonna stop that much dramatically? Like,
Does that change? Does it stop? I mean,
It depends. Like my wife sleeps early. Like you guys know, I get up and I'll go in my office and I'll close the door and I'll talk to you guys. But
what if your wife's someone that wants you to stay? Obviously, you're not gonna pick up the FaceTime
no,
call.
no, no,
Like,
no.
yeah,
It happens.
I think
You-
every
Like
once
Rook does it.
But every once in a while I will, like especially when we haven't caught up for a while.
Yeah.
But I think it just forces you to make effort and time.
it makes you to be
Like,
more intentional. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, force you to
definitely.
be
and understanding at the end of the day, right? Like if I see the FaceTime and I'm with my family watching a movie, or if we're having dinner or something, I'll hit the message button and be like, "Hey guys, watching a movie." I'll call in like an hour or 2 hours or something.
Yeah,
and
you do that,
Eventually, if we get back on. If not, we're gonna talk
I
tomorrow.
wonder if there's
inshallah.
other guys groups like this, because when I told Abba that she sees me how much, like, like whether I'm on the phone texting you guys, calling you, this group chat, another group chat, it's like on the way back home, don't listen to music, we're calling people. That's how I am. Like I have like I'm
We
calling
FaceTime,
people,
we're
we're
talking to each other.
we're FaceTiming. So it's like how just like that whole, I forgot what I was gonna say, but like that's what
Do other group chats or like
yeah,
that?
yeah. Are other guys like that? That when I told people that, they were just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're not that close with guys," and I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." Like I have that with multiple people, and I guess because we all live so far apart, that was our main way of
communicating with each other.
communicating. That's not like people like in cities that like grew up there, live there. Everyone's still in that circle, but literally all of us are all over. Like even you guys are in the Bay, each of you guys are an hour
still
away
far,
from each
yeah.
other, and like all my friends are far away. So I think we've communicated through that, and that's what's made us stronger. But I think it's
I
definitely
think
going
it
to be
is
a big
difficult
balance.
because, bro, when people do get in, even outside of marriage, when people get in relationships or when people
Yeah.
get married, especially, it's like you spend less time with your friends. You talk to your friends less, and that's where you say you lost another one. So it is tough.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
difficult. It's like, how do you navigate
It's
the
a
friendships?
transition, I think. I don't
Yeah.
think you fully lose that person, but for sure it's a
transition.
transition. You got to
Yeah.
figure out like, all right, when am I gonna do my family time, my kid time, my this
Yeah.
time, and still make time? Like, I'll be honest,
You're even more busy.
I do. I'm even more busy, but I still make time for my friends. I still
You
make
do,
time
yeah.
for you guys.
I think that's really important.
Like I'm away
I
from
feel
my
like
family and
people
my kids
should.
right now to spend
Yeah.
time with you guys. You know,
And that's what's so amazing. I don't like it when people, when they do get married or whatever, it's like they just completely like fall off the place of the planet.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I'm
hate that, bro. It's like, bro, why are you like?
your wives are understanding? Like they,
Yeah. I think
they
having
understand,
a
but some wives do not
You have to be
understand
with the
certain stuff like
understanding
that.
person,
Yeah.
an understanding partner,
Like,
1000%.
One thing that I think Abba has told me is like, hey, we're coming in two different. You've had your whole life and your upbringing. I've had my whole life and upbringing. We're choosing to spend time together, but that doesn't just make us like. It's all about us. Like I still have my life. She has her own life, and it's like we choose to spend some of the time with us together. But it's still like, I have my gym, I have my friends that I want to hang out with, and then you still be considerate. But she has her friends and she wants to hang out with, and that
Everything
way you
has a
don't get
time.
you don't feel resent. Like, oh, I'm always with you. I'm always with your family. I'm always like doing whatever you want to do. I don't have time with my friends, and then the resent starts. That's how arguments start. So it's
With
important.
Pakistanis and Afghans, that's what it is, right? You don't marry
Yeah.
the girl, you marry your family.
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't marry the guy, you marry his family. Like
Yeah.
that's what it is. You have this, you're opening this full door for all this stuff. So yeah, it just comes down to just prioritizing everything, what's the most important stuff, and
Yeah.
making time for the people that matter the most.
Yeah, like I feel like when Swag gets married, we're not gonna hear from him
Yeah,
ever again.
he says it. Swag
Speak on that.
Swag literally
I feel
says,
like
I'm
when
gonna
Swag is
disappear.
here,
Why
we're
do you
never-
say you're gonna
Dude,
disappear? You're the
dude,
only one that
I
says I'm
swear.
gonna disappear.
Dude, these guys have been saying this for months.
Swag.
But you
They've been
agree.
saying it
You
for
will, though. I
months.
feel like you
Oh,
will.
Swag's gonna disappear. Oh, we're never gonna hear from him
Yeah.
again.
Do you agree?
No.
Oh,
I disagree.
He's so capped.
So do you think?
No, I'm not gonna disappear. What the
He
hell?
is definitely gonna disappear.
Where am I gonna go to?
Also, is it okay? I guess like to disappear for the first couple months of marriage.
You
Obviously,
should.
right? That's
I think,
such
I
normal.
think your boy, like everybody around you, should understand that, like
Of
you're
course.
building a whole
But
new
what do you
life.
mean by
disappear.
what is disappear?
But you know, in the beginning,
Dude, you
get
know how
super
some
busy
guys-
setting
you know
up
how
your
some
No, but
friends-
like
apartment, all
elaborate
the
though.
other
Like,
stuff.
Okay,
'cause-
guys,
'cause
you know how
some-
some friends,
what is
you know how some friends, as soon as they get married, they're literally, you don't hear from them. Like until like, you know, or you want to hang out with them, you won't hear from them.
That's yeah,
That's
that's
communication.
different.
Yeah. But it's harder now because you have someone else with
like
the,
you
yeah.
said, like we're moving, we're doing this stuff, we're packing.
Yeah, like you're getting your apartment set up, like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like
As
yeah,
long
all
as you
that
have that
stuff.
communication, I think
Yeah.
you're good.
You
But
ha-
there's people that ghost.
Yeah, I just hope I hear
You're
from you,
gonna
my
have
brother.
your time with your wife, with your family, but you also have to make time with your friends and your homies.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
And I think
In my
friendships
opinion.
are so important, man. So that's why
Because
I really hold on to the, you know?
we know each other. Like
Yeah.
in most cases, the boys know each other much longer than they've known their wives as well. You know,
Yeah.
like you've gone through so many more life experiences than you have with your wife, because you know these friendships are like maybe in college you find, you know, so like when everybody was like single and whatever like that. So our journey has been like much longer, but then at the same time,
basically grew up with each other.
yeah, we did.
We basically like grew up with each other,
Yeah.
right? Through all these different stages of life when we're just friends. Like when I got married, I had kids, got married, and Charlotte, you're gonna
Yeah.
get married.
That's actually crazy.
College,
Yeah.
like
We-
Wait,
different-
you've
different-
been married for
we've
8 years now.
Yeah.
Different-
And we've known you
Dean will be
before your
7 in
marriage.
Charlotte in
Yeah.
November.
Yeah. We've known before
Yeah.
your marriage. So that's
we
actually
went
crazy.
to your wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So friends are like,
Yeah. I got
You-
married 2016.
yeah. So you know your friends like way
2016,
before.
great year.
Sometimes you even.
Great year, great year.
Yeah.
And it happens, right? Like stuff happens. We're not the same person. I'm not the same person I was
No.
before I had kids. I'm not the same person I was before I got married.
Yeah.
And before that, it's all these different. And we're like, alhamdulillah, like we're still close with each other. We've had our ups and downs, obviously in
Yeah,
our group, right?
yeah.
It happens.
Yeah,
but like
definitely.
we've grown. You know,
Amen.
we understand.
Avengers.
We communicate.
Unite. I would say my thing is like for Ahmed, even for me when I get married, like how do you deal with like the families now in the sense of like now Ahmed, like how do you feel like
Yeah, that's-
do you feel like mom's gonna get upset that you're always spending time
Yeah,
in
definitely.
Houston and Texas and you've never been in LA? Like
my
gonna happen.
issue
How do you
is
feel
huge.
about that?
Yeah, because she, mashallah, has
It might
a
be the
big
hardest
family.
for your mom. To be
Yeah.
honest.
My she has a big family in Houston, and like I'm living in Houston for right now. And then she, my family, you guys are in LA.
Yeah.
And Mama has already said like she kind of feels left out of like some of the wedding stuff, is just because like whether it's like bridal showers or like planning, because it's like we're doing everything and it's hard for her to travel. And so, but it's also in a sense of like you and your partner have to agree on like Abada says, like, okay, we have to call your mom at this time, or include her in this, or have her in the planning call here. Like, okay, like we need to visit. She's been saying like, we need to visit, we need to visit, we need to visit. So I guess it's really lucky, or like if your partner is the one that's kind of driving, because if it's your own family, you kind of just so chill and kind of laid back. You're like, oh, like I've been with them my whole entire life. Like if I'm away for a little bit, it's like doesn't feel so much. But like if your partner also is like you, it takes after you, then it's gonna get bad. But if they're pushing forward, like, hey, we need to make time because they don't live here, it makes it better. But it's still hard.
but also you live in Houston,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure everyone knows.
Yeah.
And your fiance's family's in Houston.
Yeah.
So then, see, that makes it easier because obviously you're in Houston, so you're
Yeah.
gonna be with her family more.
Exactly. No, I'm
Yeah,
saying
versus
she's
your
like,
yeah, but I'm
family.
saying no. What
My-
I'm talking about is
but she's
our
like, oh,
family,
we
like,
need-
I understand,
Yeah.
but you guys live in LA.
no, I know, but my
So-
question is, how do you deal with that in the sense of like, you know,
he is right. He's trying to communicate, right? Like
Yeah.
like your wife's saying, or your fiance, right? To call and text and whatnot. So in my
yeah.
opinion, I mean, that's all you could do, unless you take a flight every few months. But
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes back to you too,
Yeah.
because I think, like you said, like as guys, we're more like chilled out with that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But sometimes what happens is if your spouse is the one pushing you consistently to like go see your parents, and you don't make an effort,
Yeah.
at some point she might stop making that effort to
facts.
like remind you, and then now you don't go.
also,
Yeah.
you have to know that you don't know how your mom and dad are feeling, or your brother or your sister. So
Yeah.
they might be feeling way more some type of a way
Yeah.
because of you might not have called today versus yesterday
Yeah.
or the day before. So
Yeah,
you
it's
gotta
hard, dude.
just
It's
have that
really
in
hard
mind too.
being like
adjust period,
the-
right? Adjusting.
it is hard because like completely in LA and like a flight, like it's a lot because it's hard. You're busy with your work. You're busy with like
trying to figure out a new relationship. And then it is much easier if you can just go down the road 20 minutes. But if they live in a whole different state,
it's tough.
Yeah, it definitely is tough. I think my mom definitely feels left out, and I think I could do a better job. And I guess, inshallah, but yeah, and inshallah, it's when we get married, I don't think the goal is not to live in Houston either. So we're both trying to be away from family, create our own foundation. That way, hey, if you're gonna see your mom, then okay, we're taking a flight. It has to be we're trying to make it more even at that point.
And you gotta have you have your certain things that you do on a day to day, with your mom.
Yeah.
And then you could even find different different things just between you and your mom, or maybe your mom and your spouse.
Yeah.
Whether it's having dinner on FaceTime once a week, cooking together.
Oh, that's a good
whether
idea.
it's flying out once a month, every 2 months. You gotta have some sort of routine. So your mom needs to be okay with it, of how often she's seeing you. Because I think one thing that especially when you're building out your life together, and guys maybe will try to sacrifice more, but at some point your parents are also getting older. They've also raised you, literally, wiped your butt, and now all of a sudden you're old, you're married, and you don't even visit, you don't even call. That's one of the saddest kind of things. And it was something even for me, my mom definitely felt sad, because obviously once your child is now married, they're living their own life. Although there's a great deal of happiness now, they have a daughter-in-law and that whole kind of side of it, but they do feel sad that they don't see you every day or every week, and it just adds on more and more when you're just spending time on one side and not the other.
But isn't that part of life too? At the same time,
It is.
I feel balance, because it's you get married. It's okay, I feel the marriage aspect of it is I'm choosing to be with you, so I have that sense of responsibility. I told your dad and I told your family that I'm gonna take care of you and provide or support, because you are making an intentional decision. Be I'm gonna be with this person, so those are the certain responsibilities and rules. And even Wajeeh jokingly said I didn't get to choose, but it's that's how we kind of for parents. It's just oh, we've gotten so used to it, and we never made that official declaration of this is what I'm going to do. It's more of an understood statement. Hey, you raised me. This is what our culture says. This is what our religion says. These are my responsibilities to you. These are your responsibilities to me. And it's kind of unsaid stuff, which happens. But for relationships, it's more, you have to say, you have to be more intentional. So I think that kind of just gets a little bit lost of hey, I said this, so now I need to focus on that. So you kind of get lost, but it's good to bring the balance.
But I think it's also as you get older, like Harris said, there's so many versions of you over the years, right? So now you're, a young adult, you're maturing, you're getting married, having a different relationship with your parents. Because obviously you don't choose your parents, but Allah chooses them for you, right?
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is I always look at it with your parents, especially with your mom, that's your one-way ticket into Jannah.
Yeah.
So if that means that I gotta fly home and spend $400 on a flight, then so be it. That's the sacrifice that you need to make to make
your
sure
mom
that
will understand. At the end of the day, she's gonna understand. Hey, my son's with his wife. He you made your bed, you sleep in it, right? You picked this girl to be with the rest of your life. So they understand. He has to be with this person. So.
Hey man, let's talk about that. I know we like. I like this conversation. This is great, family. But chat talks a lot. But let's talk about a little bit more. Let's get a little fun here, man. Let's kill it. I want to hear about the tough. I want to hear about the tough realities of marriage. I know it's always ups and downs. But okay, where was I gonna go with this? Hold on. I had a thought. Hold on, I thought. I guess my thing was. It was about arguments, but I was trying to get somewhere until something I was looking at, so I swear my thing just. I swear the thoughts went out of my mind. I swear.
He was eyeing me, bro.
No. Oh, okay, coming back to this. There's another thought, but another thought came to mind. Did you guys expect your wives to cook before you guys are going into the marriage?
I'm not married, guys.
Did you guys expect your wives to cook before you? I know. Look, Ahmed especially. Let me give you this guy. You guys all know. Please make it big. Food for him.
I'm hungry.
Food for him is a very, very big.
It's a love
thing.
language.
Yeah, it's a very big thing.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't know for you guys, but I'm saying going into your guys' marriage, right? Did you guys expect your partners to cook, or did you have expectations, and then did they start to live up to the expectation? But then after marriage, it kind of just after the couple first 6 months and it falls off, then it's like all those things that you thought how they were, they change after a certain point. Does that
Just
ever
talking
happen?
about cooking?
Does that
But no, but for the
Like, does that
cooking
ever
thing, right?
happen? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously, you expect your wife to cook, but I'm gonna say yes and no to that question, right? Yeah. Because I knew
things
my
change.
wife before, obviously. Like
Yeah.
I knew she can make great dishes,
Yeah.
that type of stuff. But I don't want my wife to cook 24/7.
Of course.
I knew that wasn't gonna happen. I knew I had to cook myself too.
Yeah.
Like right now, we 50-50 do it.
Yeah.
She cooks. I
I'm
cook.
sure she would say.
has-
I'm sure she would say something different.
No, she'll say it.
Yeah, I'm sure she'd say something different.
If I show you
Hey,
my,
I'll call her
my
right now. I
phone,
swear to God, I'm gonna text her right now. She'd be like, "He
she'll
never
text me,
freaking
"Hey,
cooks."
I want your steak bites tonight."
No.
I'm like, "All right, done. I'll go to steak for the next
Dude, I'm
day."
sure, dude,
I guarantee you.
swear,
I want
guarantee
smash
you, after this
burgers,
episode,
I'll go
she's gonna
smash
message
burgers.
me saying that this is so cap
No,
that I
no.
cook 75% of the time. He barely
No,
cooks.
not 75.
80%.
It's 50-50.
Is it?
Yeah. She'll tell me, "Hey, tonight I want steak bites." I'm all right, cool. On my way back from home, I'll pick up the
Yeah,
steak
wow.
bites, the mashed potatoes and gravy, like whatever it is. Like,
But what I'm saying is, like, do things after, like,
but yes,
right?
things change because you get comfortable with other things in,
Yeah.
in the life, that type of stuff. Like, to be honest, I didn't think I was gonna be washing the dishes as much.
Yeah.
This guy too, for sure. We already know.
Yeah. Shout out to the dishwasher, man.
Yeah, there's other stuff, right? Like it's a 50-50 thing. So like vacuuming, washing the dishes, doing the laundry, like those type of things. Like I don't know,
Yeah,
it's not
of course.
Pakistan or Afghanistan where
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, I expect my wife to do all that stuff.
course,
No, like
yeah.
you're joining this thing 50-50. Hey, I'm bringing in 50, you bring in 50. Let's do this together.
Yeah, especially if the women are working too. So then it's like,
Oh, if they're working,
I just realized that you go into the marriage, the more expectations you have, the more chances you have of failure. Like you can't go in like because even as another person, like, hey, if she tells, hey, I expect you to bring in all the money. Like I know, bring in all the money and always open the door. It's like when you think something is like expected of you and like forced upon you, you're like, I don't want to do, like you don't feel thankful.
Remember
You
in
take it for
500 Days of
granted.
Summer, that part was expectations versus reality.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's always better in your head.
Yeah.
But reality is
So it's better to have less expectations
Yeah,
going
less
into marriage.
expectations.
No
expectations
expectations.
whatsoever.
No,
Oh,
not
shit,
less.
Rook.
Have no
Yeah.
expectations.
Going into
No.
marriage,
On
no
it.
expectations.
How you're taking care of yourself as single individually, I think that's what you should expect to be happening.
Wow, really?
post.
Yeah,
I don't think
like-
more selfless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Like you're not gonna, you're not. There's not gonna be a fairy godmother, which I don't think is gonna be like, hey, okay, hey, I don't have to cook no more. I don't have to do my laundry. I don't have to clean. Like as much as that's what I thought.
yeah.
That's what marriage is gonna be. Is like like a lot of help in like all of those areas. Well, she would probably help too, but it's not like if it becomes an expectation and like a demand, it's not gonna.
I think like some girls like coming from their household, right? Like, damn, my mom cooked 24/7.
Yeah.
She cleaned 24/7.
Yeah.
My dad worked all the time. My mom didn't. And then they think like, oh, when I get married, I'm gonna do all the cooking, cleaning, doing this stuff, and then I'm not gonna work. My husband will do that stuff. Like I think that expectation is thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Like don't worry about what your mom and dad did. That's
Yeah.
not gonna work for you in your relationship. What you need to do is just come in. I'm like having that conversation at the beginning,
Yeah.
50-50, whatever it is. Like just talking, like, hey, this is how set up a chore schedule.
Yeah.
Get a spin wheel, have some fun, throw some dice or something. I don't know, whatever.
fun,
Do it.
huh?
Have some fun, enjoy. Do
It's
it.
a job,
Make
bro.
fun.
Still talking about the
This
chores?
is a
It's a
damn
24/7
job.
job. Huh?
It's a job.
Sorry.
Too soon.
Still talking about the chores, but
and sometimes not even like a 50-50. Like
not,
sometimes there's
yeah.
certain
Oh, yeah, there's
weeks
times
where
it's gonna be
like you're
100 to
going
0,
through
yeah.
it, and your wife is doing everything for
yeah,
you.
speak on it, Rook.
Sometimes like your wife is going through stuff and you're cooking
Yeah.
all the meals. Like
Oh, speak on it, Rook. Hey man.
I think it's just
Help
more
each
of
other.
like that part. Like, when you go and you're like, oh, I'm gonna have a partner and everything, and they're gonna help, but then like you can't really expect that, but you kind of do because it's like, what is a part? Like you have a partner, so you're supposed to get help, but it's not really. What is that? Like it's so confusing. It's like, hey, I'm marrying someone now, I'm gonna get help, but then it's like, oh, but
Some
you can't
days I
expect them to do your laundry, clean, or even other stuff. Like they're like, what? Like I've never done this for myself. Why am I'm gonna start doing it for you?
I feel like one thing that like guys don't get, or like a man's main purpose, I feel like within the community, within the like household unit, is to serve. Like you're the one that's providing, you're the one that's bringing in the money.
Yeah.
Whatever needs there are at home, it's your job to pretty much do them, right? If your wife does them, great, like fantastic. If she doesn't do it, it still ends up falling kind of like on your shoulders.
Yeah.
And the more that you kind of do that from a place of like love, your wife is gonna do it from the same place, and you'll build like a beautiful kind of home together. But expectations of that to begin with. Just don't.
Let's throw it out the window.
Yeah.
And I think religion, deen, like just I think plays a really core part of it. I think, you know, as strong as you are in your deen and your wife, like I think that has to be being rooted in your deen. I think helps with the marriage as well. Like knowing like, hey, these are my responsibilities. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for Allah because this is what it is. Yeah. And if they have that same type of mindset as well, it would be great. But I just feel like everyone's always on a different religious journey. Like I can be on a different religious journey. She can be on a different religious journey. And and you can't force her and she can't be forcing you. No. So it's kind of like as much as you want like deen to be the center, people might be at a two different wavelengths as well. It's so
I think like encouraging each other. And there's like this graph like see it like on social media from time to time where like
Twitter,
Allah's at like Allah's at the top of the pyramid.
Oh, I've seen
and
that.
And then it's you and your wife, and then as you get closer to Allah, and you'll be on different wavelengths. Every there's no two people that are at the same wavelength when it comes down to like deen, right?
No,
but just pushing each other to get better, to stay with your salah, to do the extra stuff that you want to do, take some classes.
Even if you do it and they see you doing it, that could be motivation.
Yeah, I think
for them too.
But use deen more as a never force, but use deen more as a be calm, be like, hey, like if you're arguing, like it's time to be calm, be the bigger person, be the patient one, be going out like I'm gonna clean. You can use it as a thing like if you're mad or annoyed, like I'm not doing it for you, I'm doing it for Allah. Like I'm gonna go ahead and I don't want to clean, but I'm gonna clean because I'm getting rewarded by somebody else. I'm not gonna ask you for the benefits and the thing. I'm asking a higher power.
Let me ask,
and I think that helps.
Let me ask, going on to that point, right? Part of it, I think a lot of men, you guys know women, right? They always say, oh, women are more emotional, or don't mess with them when they're going through their, whatever the case may be, when their emotions are high. It's that time of the month. And a lot of men, they're just like, a lot of the joke, even Papa G was telling you in the car, he's like, just be quiet, don't talk. He's like, he's like, his trick is I don't talk. I just be quiet.
He said the more you talk, the more arguments are going to happen.
Of course.
Just be quiet.
So be quiet. So my thing is, and like for someone like me, like I talk. Right, and I talk back, I argue back.
Big trouble, brother.
So exactly right now, it's different when you're talking back to your friends or talking back to your parents.
Oh,
or whatever.
you could never be wrong. Shoot.
No. HK, you can never be wrong either. So that's my question to you.
I shut up.
So you shut up when it comes to the wife. So when it comes to your wife, how do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with that side of things? Like, how should you know what I'm saying? Like, what's especially when
he's a vet, he understands. You
just be quiet.
The less you say,
just shut up.
The more better. Yeah.
You never regret being quiet.
Never.
Yeah. You will always regret opening your mouth.
So for men, just be quiet.
Get up.
Yeah.
Quiet.
It sucks. It's so true, but it sucks because like.
You don't have to win every fight.
It's not about winning.
It's not about winning, but like, why are you?
Yeah, I guess so. It's not about winning, but it's also saying like it's like a punching bag. Like we're getting hit. Like just because like we're quiet doesn't mean it doesn't hurt us. It doesn't.
Of course.
Doesn't mean that we don't go down that rabbit hole too.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we're that punching bag. We're gonna stay quiet because like it says like. I've heard, and even like girls are crazy. They're crazy, and that's the that C word. That C word is not bad. It's like I was always told that it's very bad to use crazy. And then I talked to Ahmed, and she's like, "Yeah, you could like." She knows I'm acting I'm crazy.
Women, they know they're crazy too.
We're crazy, and it's not just her. All women are like that.
Yeah,
I'm talking to my friends, and it's just like I'm like, oh, it might not. No, and if you don't think your woman is crazy, then you're the issue. That's where it is. You're the crazy one because your girl is not different. That I think that's what it is. Just
a lot of guys are trying to say my girl's different. My girl's
your
different.
girl's not different.
I hear what you're saying, but also you have to understand that you have to be understanding when it's situation.
And that's what we're talking about. Like
you have
to
be
quiet.
Understanding. No, you don't have to be quiet, but you have to be understanding.
Yeah.
In the sense that they're going through something, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't just be like, "Hey, make me food."
No, it's not about that.
No, I'm just giving you an example. Like you have to understand. Like, all right, she's going through something, whatever it is, emotional, pain, stress, whatever the case is. Right. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like
Just
a
to be
time and
understanding.
Women are always we're talking
Yeah.
about when they're kind of just, it's the smallest of things, and they're always going through something. It's the smallest things, and it's just like, how do you just like?
I give it to a vet.
How do you like? Yeah, Michael, like you know what I mean? Like, what if they're
you know
just
what's crazy? It's not
getting mad at just the smallest thing, and you're like, bro, why am I? Why do I? What? Why? What did I do?
And sometimes it's
Like-
not going to be the thing inside the family, right?
Yeah.
Something will happen outside, to your wife,
Yeah.
right? Something will happen to her outside, like sister, mom, dad, cousin, whatever it is. They can't say certain things to them, right?
So they'll
because
say-
whatever,
yeah.
because they're
Wow.
quiet during that time.
Wow.
You said punching bag earlier. That's what happens. It's gonna come back to you, and you're gonna be like, dang, where did this come from? We just had a
Yeah.
really good day yesterday. Like, what's going on here? And you're like, oh, okay, something else happened outside.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, instead of like, okay, I hear you the way you're talking to me, the way you're saying stuff, but there's something else behind this. So
what do you do?
the further down that you get, you want to find out what's really going on. So I'll ask that question like, hey, I know it's not. It depends. You can be quiet, get up, walk away. If it's that type of argument, like you messed up or something, or vice versa, and you have that argument. But if it's something like, hey, okay, let's bring in this something back from XYZ, whatever. But you're like, okay, there's something else going on with this. And the reason why she's talking to me like this, she wants to have a conversation with me. She just doesn't know how to say it. And then you're like,
what if you're just getting cussed at?
No. The problem is, but the thing is, when someone
no,
tells
you shouldn't be getting
cussed at.
cussed at. That's what's gonna
I know
happen.
Wajeeh's problem.
Yeah.
The moment someone, and I have the same issue, I'm realizing it. When they say something about us, like, hey, you didn't do this, we get defensive right away.
Of course.
Yeah,
Our
defensive,
first thing is defense. Like, I do this. How can you even think that? Like, I'm doing so much for you. How can you even think that I'm doing that? But it's not. That's not the first thought. I think Harris hit it where it's like, something's bothering you, even though in my head I'm probably doing all of it right.
She's
and you might not have
you
it
in a different way.
You need to you need to be like, there must be. It's not me. There must be something else wrong.
So I would be like, hey, like, what's going on?
So don't get defensive right away.
Yeah.
You had a falling out with
Don't
someone
get
else.
defensive.
Don't get
Wow, that's the
defensive.
biggest key.
That's
to
the
take-
big. Thank you,
that's the
brother.
biggest
Of
key to
course.
take. Wow, I'm gonna see why you
that.
learned something
I
today.
learned something.
Seven
You
plus
learned
I
something
got-
today.
I get defensive. I
Don't
get
get
defensive.
I've been around the block a few times.
If you
know?
tell
Like,
me something like,
How
oh,
many
you
marriages?
don't.
one marriage,
Oh,
alhamdulillah.
one marriage, good.
And it's
Mashallah.
only going to be one.
Okay, great.
Inshallah.
That's
I'm
how it
not
should
going
be.
anywhere.
I don't know about Rook though.
I made the decision.
Multiple wives.
Sorry,
Oh, we
keep
can talk
going.
about multiple.
No. That's not
later
good.
on.
Just
Okay.
keep going about this topic real quick.
But yeah, but hey,
Yeah.
this person wants to talk to me. You're talking to
Yeah.
me, a little bit harsh, whatever. But hey, let's have a real conversation. Talk to me about the other thing that's bothering you, and
You're using me, yeah, because it's like, oh, you're so mean, or you're being so unappreciative, or if they bring something on you, it's not more that maybe it is something that you do wrong, but it might not. If you know you're a good person, it might not be you're the one in wrong. Maybe they're just trying. You just need to ask questions to figure it out instead of be like, what do you mean I'm so mean? I just got you this, and this, and I just did this, and this for you.
I think the biggest thing is you don't want to invalidate anybody's feelings,
Yeah.
like what they're feeling like in the moment. But and this is what takes time to kind of figure out, and it's the same way with any friendship and marriage.
Yeah.
Is there's a right time to talk about something, and then there's a wrong time to talk about something, and this is a concept that I think guys just don't get, even myself early on.
Yeah.
And still, I'm still kind of like learning through that process where you can have a conversation no matter how maybe big it is or how small it is. And if you have it at the wrong time, it turns into an argument. If you have it at the right time, it turns into something kind of like positive, and you're both like feeling good about the conversation, no matter how difficult it is.
Yeah.
Another thing I would say is, sorry, did you have to say something? Because I know
Go, brother.
Okay. Another thing I want to say, it's like you're talking about the timing, but why does this always happen
It's
to me,
okay.
bro? Why does this always happen to me,
Dude,
bro?
you know
I
how-
wanted to
you
get
know-
into something. I had a very,
Okay.
very like a thing.
Always write down your
Do you
good
think
ideas.
women are also, like how we're thinking about this? Do you think like we're trying to be open and we are like,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
well,
do you think
shit.
women are thinking like this too?
Before I forget this, hold on.
Yeah,
Before I
go
get
ahead,
this,
go
before I
ahead.
get- Shit, I just forgot. No, I'm joking. Before I get this. Hold on, actually, wait.
Oh my God! What's right? Is this his first podcast or what?
No,
must be
bro, I
the
know what's
bloodline,
going on.
huh?
You know why? Because I'm just sitting. This is the first time I'm just sitting and not talking. Like I'm just literally
Yeah, it
sitting.
must
bro.
be hard for you, huh?
This is really tough. 'Cause I'm just sitting here and not talking. I swear, I'm just literally sitting here. Bro, it's the first. I'm literally just sitting here. Okay, just go. What were you saying?
No. What I was saying, like,
Shit, Yad.
we're trying to grow and we're thinking about, be calm and be the, think of what they're saying and stuff like that. I wonder if that same mentality is coming from the. Okay, it came back to you.
Wait, hold on. Let me hold on.
Oh, what's wrong with this guy?
Just came back to me.
Do you think women are also?
Oh,
I-
okay, okay,
let him
listen,
answer,
guys,
let him
hold on,
answer.
okay,
Oh my
okay.
God.
What? Okay, here's my thing. This is good. Ready? Shit, man, whose podcast is this? Okay, ready? All right, ready. If with parents, right? Let's start with parents. With parents, I feel like I talk about this a lot on Chai Talk. Is it ever enough? Will it ever be enough? Will they ever be happy? Right? With parents, that's how. Will my mom ever be happy? Is whatever I do in my life and for them, will it ever be enough? Can't you say it's the same thing for women and marriages? Like you can do everything, but will it ever be enough?
You said it earlier.
Will it ever be enough?
You said it earlier. It's women. It doesn't have to be your mom or parents.
Exactly.
Like,
So,
it's
so
women.
will it ever be enough? That's my question for you guys. Do you
can
guys
always do more. They're gonna see somebody else doing something else for their husband or their wife or whatever, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, well, this person did that, but can you do that for me?" It's this ongoing
because you can do
battle.
everything. You can clean, you can cook, you can do everything. You can buy them this, buy them that.
Yeah.
But don't you feel like it's still there's always going to be something?
There's always gonna be something.
Yeah.
Is that true or no? What are you guys thoughts on that? Is that true
I'm
or
gonna
no?
let you guys because I
Is that- do you-
you guys
I feel like sometimes.
And why is it that way? That's another thing.
The thing is, like, sometimes you can't get too fixated on those things in general.
those arguments.
Those arguments, like, for you as a person, at the end of the day, like, whether you're cooking, whether you're cleaning, whether you're trying to listen to your parents and be dutiful and whatever your mom says you're trying to do, like, one, you're dealing with people with every person has a different personality, different understanding of things. You're gonna try your best, but I feel like when you do it, it might sound cliche, but like when you do it for the sake of Allah and you leave it at that, it's easier to navigate. And then I think also the same way that you have those conversations of understanding with your wife, you have it with your parents, you have it with your siblings, and you have it with the people around you that may feel like the things that you do aren't enough. And maybe they won't be enough, and people will always have something to say. But as long as like you're trying your absolute best in any
But
given
isn't
situation,
it frustrating though when you are doing everything that you can? You're trying your absolute every best, right?
Yeah.
You're doing everything you can. But there's one thing that they'll still bring up. Oh, you didn't do this, or oh, why can't you
Or
do
it's
that?
not
Or why
enough.
can't
Yeah,
you do
but
this?
like that-
but you're
yeah.
doing everything that you possibly can. Isn't that
but
frustrating?
100% frustrating. But nobody fully
Man, I don't know if I'm
understands
ready for
every single
marriage.
thing that you do.
Yeah.
Whether it's your mom, whether it's
Say that
your
again, no
spouse,
one's what?
Nobody ever fully understands every single thing that you do.
There's
on
so
like a
many things
day-to-day.
behind the scenes
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
people don't see that you do. So
So you're basically what you guys are saying. It's like,
are
who
you-
cares about how much you do? And it doesn't matter how much you do because at the end, like, don't think of anything in the sense of like, oh, you're doing so much. Never think that way.
If you're doing stuff for people, you will always feel that way because for people,
natural,
no matter
right?
what you do, it's never gonna be
Yeah.
enough.
people get bored, right?
Yeah.
Like you get bored and you figure out like, oh, this is, what else am I don't want to say ungrateful, but like, what else can I get? You always want more. You always want more of
Yeah,
something. Like I have all this, but I still want more. But then you just gotta realize, like, oh man, like I have this. I'm grateful for this. Alhamdulillah, I'm happy for this. Not a lot of people think that way, They're always trying to reach higher than they're allowed to reach,
always want more. Yeah.
Another thing I remember is like also like is what you're doing for that person something that they want?
Yeah.
Like if, for example, if every night Ahmed's cooking dinner for his wife, and she's like, "No, I don't need you to cook me dinner,
Yeah.
but I just need you to compliment me every day," and you don't compliment me.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Like if you figuring out what is it, like your mom might need just, hey, like Wajeeh, I just need you to come give me a hug every day, or tell me that you love me, and that's enough for me.
Yeah.
But you're over here doing all this extra stuff that maybe she doesn't even.
I think this
Yeah,
goes
but-
back
right?
to
You don't even know what the point where like you could be doing everything, and then they might never. It's not even be an actual like, hey, I want compliment. They're like, it's just a feeling. Yeah. Oh, you might not be doing enough, but it's like, okay, tell me, what do I need to do more? It just doesn't feel the same.
Sometimes those random hugs that you
the-
just come up and you just
It's just
give
like
one of those,
It's,
and it's
yeah,
like,
it's just like
all
once
right,
it's not
I'm good.
quantifiable and it's just a feeling. That's a whole nother level.
Yeah,
that
it's
you
like,
have
how do
to
you deal with
How
that?
do you do? Yeah, I don't know how you deal with that when it's something even
like you when you say
quantifiable.
like when you basically say like, what's wrong? Can I help you? Something like they don't know.
They're
The
like,
answer
I
to
don't know.
that.
I just don't feel good. Like it's just a feeling.
What are you supposed to do? Like what can I do for you? Do you want me to get you this?
Keep
No.
asking, keep asking. Eventually, they're gonna tell you, like, oh, how are you? How are you? Did you have a good day? It was okay. It's okay. Like it's not
Yeah.
always like it's okay. It's like you want to say something else. All right,
Yeah.
like come on, let it out. What is it? Come on, let's go. Let's go for a walk. Grab your sandals. Let's go take a walk around the block and let's go talk about it.
At the end of the thing, I just feel like they're so hard to deal with relationships and navigating that, especially marriage. I think at the end of the day, it's just about one being understanding as like a takeaway. One being understanding. Also, I think the biggest thing is like not having expectations. Right. I think that's the biggest thing that we can take away from this, or I can take away from this, because it's like if you have expectations from someone or something and it doesn't live up to it, then it's like you're just gonna be living in constant like
Comparing.
But then again, should we not? I mean, is it normal to have expectations? Shouldn't we like?
I don't know. It's just
That's where communication
sometimes
comes in.
sometimes the way we talk about marriage is so deflating, negative. Then there's the other side where it's like so positive and so grateful and stuff like that. I think alhamdulillah, we're all blessed to have partners that are really amazing and perfect fit for us and the puzzle piece that we need. And we're always grateful. But then there's obviously like stuff that you go through. So it's just like
we're human. We're not perfect.
Sometimes it feels so negative and deflated, and we're talking about being a punching bag. The other way, it's like, oh, when it's good, it's really good.
I'm sure, and I pray that everybody, finds that right match, their perfect partners. And I pray your guys' marriages are filled with nothing but love, blessings and happiness. You know what I'm saying? But I know this episode's kind of getting along. But any last things you guys, any advice that you can give to our brother over here?
I'm at a happy stage right now.
Yeah,
it's
any advice you guys can give
alone
him?
still.
The honeymoon stage. That's what they call it, the honeymoon stage. Yeah. You're gonna be happy in the honeymoon stage no matter what.
How long does it last?
It all depends.
When should you think about having kids?
It all depends on how long.
Right away? No, Rook.
I say wait a couple years.
Yeah.
2-3 years if you can.
Yeah.
Like you said, you guys are, you're not going to stay in Houston. You guys are going out. That building block, that first year is very, very important.
Yeah.
You're making those steps for your family. Take it a little bit longer, because once you have kids, it's the dynamic changes, everything changes. But spend that a little more time to get to know this person a little more and build up yourselves. Travel, alhamdulillah, traveling with kids is amazing, but traveling by yourself sometimes is kind of nice,
your partner.
Yeah, but it's amazing at the end of the day, no matter what.
Everybody, all you guys giving advice, so that was good advice. Swagger, any advice for our brother over here?
My advice is just be yourself, my brother.
Wow.
And
be you.
Improve 100. on yourself each and every day if you can.
Yeah.
Whether that's mentally, spiritually, work, relationship with your mom, whatever.
Yeah.
And honestly, just go with it, bro.
Yeah.
And inshallah, everything's gonna be well.
Oh man, can't wait for the wedding, huh?
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Oh, why is it destination?
Oh, destination wedding.
Yeah, man.
Now only real ones will show up.
Man. No comment.
Yeah, man.
Real ones will show up.
Oh wow.
Rook.
Shots.
My advice is something I heard. This is from Sheikh Deeb.
Oh wow, dropping it.
And his advice, or something that he practices within his marriage, is like every single opportunity that you get to serve one another, always try to like level each other up, like for that sake of like Allah's mercy, muhabba, and like, love, right? So for example, like you wake up and your wife cooks you breakfast, you clean the dishes, you cook lunch or you cook dinner, and just always try to one up each other in small acts that are like throughout the day, and that like increases that like love kind of like between each other.
Yeah.
And then as far as like the honeymoon phase goes, like it can go as long as you want it to go, because I know like some of these topics might like seem deflating, but at the end of the day, if you're having a tough conversation about you feeling like the punching bag or maybe not feeling appreciated, sometimes you got to take a couple steps back and listen. Why are you having this conversation? The whole point of this conversation is to make the marriage more beautiful and more fruitful for you, for not only for yourself in this life but the hereafter as well, right? So if everything you look at it like from that lens, even if you have difficult conversations and there's certain days you don't see eye to eye, but if that's like the baseline that you kind of like have, no matter what happens, you always go back to like a good place.
Yeah, nice.
That's like that keeps that kind of honeymoon phase kind of alive.
Love that. Yeah.
Thank you,
man.
my brothers.
I would say invest in a good couch. I'm joking. Hey man, tell him, give him some tricks about going to Ralph's and looking for the milk and spending time at Costco. Groceries.
These guys walk so. That's why Dad. Now I know.
That's why Dad. Literally, what do you think?
45 an hour just to get two.
Did your grocery time go up after getting married?
Yeah.
Like, did your like?
I'll walk if I'm going for 2-3 things. I'm walking down every aisle.
Like, did your grocery time go up?
I'll be walking down the aisle. I'm just there to grab like cheese and maybe some eggs or something.
Why the hell does Dad take so long to go get two freaking things, bro?
And as I get older,
because he's alone. Your dad's alone. That's the only time he's alone.
Right?
Yeah.
He'll be walking out. This is what I do. I walk down the aisle. I'm like, oh shoot, they changed the wrapper to the QP mayo. What happened to Miss Buttersworth? She's not there anymore.
Oh my god,
that's crazy.
Anyways, man. Love it. Thank you guys for joining us. Love this.
Congratulations, Ahmed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Best of luck,
brother.
inshallah.
Happy
at the end of the day,
bachelor party.
We're here for you.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Any questions? Don't ask us. No, just
anytime you want to vent, you know who to call.
Yeah, I got you.
That's what the group chat's for.
Hey, Chat Talk. Love it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for joining the Chat Talk. Appreciate you guys. Special on with all the boys. This is Boys Talk. But hope you guys enjoyed and hope you guys will learn something. But inshallah, see you guys next time. And thank you guys always for joining Chat Talks. Thank you. Peace.
Like,
He's
comment,
not
and
gay.
subscribe.
But he might be.
I was kind of worried that was showing up in the back of the video.
Really? Nah, I wasn't. I guess he's not gay.